Okay, Steph. So this time around, I have to say you made an exponential growth in your attack of the lesson. I was completely thrilled that you spoke the objective that you had in mind to him because he's old enough to understand what you wanted him to do. You clearly explained the directions of the activity, and the activity was over the top. You matched that activity exactly to his skill level while still challenging him, which to me was huge because it could have been, here's a baby game for you, big boy, and just play the baby game.
Right.
But it wasn't. You presented it as, this is an activity that goes with what we've been learning. He accepted it as that. He didn't care what the characters were in the game. He was engaged with the process of the game, which was, again, was just over the top perfect. It was perfect for him. I love the fact that you wisely said, let's do one skill first, then we'll work on the other skill, and then we'll see if we can combine the two skills together, which you saw was more of a challenge for him, but that's exactly where you wanted him to be. You wanted him to go from the known to something that was a little more unknown and a little more challenging.
Right.
I loved that, like you mentioned, this was an untimed activity. The only timed part was the freewheeling fun in the middle, which accessed a different part of his brain and gave him a brain rest, which again was absolutely perfect for what he needs. He was completely focused on the activity. It showed you what he knew, how he had to get there, because sometimes you had to repeat to him person, place, or thing. So you gave him that piece that he needed, what he knew, you reminded him, and then he was able to go through and click on them. I thought it was genius, it was brilliant, it was exactly what he needed to be able to do what you had been working on with him. So I thought that was great. The learning environment that you create with him is definitely positive. It's definitely affirmative. You know, one of the things on the dashboard said, can you communicate verbally and non-verbally? And you definitely, your non-verbal posture with him is always relaxed. It's never, you know, I've got my fists and I want you to do this. But you're also leaning into him in the sense that you're showing him, I'm your support here. I'm for you. I am with you. You smile. You nod your head. You give verbal encouragement. And those things, again, just huge. You've done that all along, but this was a huge jump because I saw it in action. You were so comfortable with the strategy you were using that you weren't fussing over here somewhere to say, how am I going to accomplish this?
Right.
So definitely great positive environment. Active engagement and learning 100%. He was completely engaged. He was not noticing anything else that was going on around him, which is huge. He's always distracted by what's going on around him. He's always thinking about something else, and he wasn't. In this activity, he was 100% engaged.
Yeah.
So I thought that was great, and I thought that you clearly showed that you knew how to use technology. You were formatively assessing him, and then the fact that it gave him a score was summatively assessing him. So he got both in the process. So I just thought it was a fantastic lesson. Well on your way. Continue to do those kinds of things as you're working with kids because they are screeners, and so it's speaking to him. But your whole approach to it was extremely professional, extremely calm. You looked like I know exactly what I want to do, and I am going to do it, and I have it all lined up in a certain way, and it hopefully will flow, and it did. Did exactly what you thought. What would you like to say to me back? How did you feel about it?
I thought it was good. I was just trying to find, like you said, a game that I thought would be on his level without him knowing that it was a lower level.
Yes.
So finding something that he was like intrigued in and like entertained, keeping his focus was kind of my pinpoint for that lesson. So that was good. And even reviewing today what we went over, he still knew without showing him that orange paper what the noun and what a verb was, identical to what we had on that paper. So excellent. I think he's getting the actual hint of what it is, and he's catching on to it, so it's kind of a plus too. So,
and that's exciting for you to see that as you're working with him, it's sticking, because we know that short-term memory is one of his issues. Right. So to see it sticking definitely from your specific work with him is great. Awesome. I loved too that you said, I think if I were going to do this again, I would have put some of the words on cards. Right. You know, those are things that sometimes you can't anticipate either. You just have to go through the lesson and then make a mental note. If I were doing this again, I would probably do it a little differently, or I could improve this. Definitely. But generally speaking, you really did not need any kind of improvement on this lesson. It was spectacular.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thanks.